So we are doing Taittiriya, Bhruguvalli, Anuvak 7, section 7, and page 2. What did you say? Sorry?
296.
296. Okay, 296. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tumeva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanma Bhavatu Tad Vaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So we are at a section where the teacher is kind of talking to Bhrigu. Bhrigu got that final Anand, glimpse of that final Anand, and now he has no more question left because he has experienced Brahman himself, but he's not completely established. That was one point. And the second point was that in this hypothetical situation, or maybe a real situation, whatever, that in the classroom, Bhrigu was the only one who experienced that Brahman. Others did not. And the teacher doesn't want to say, okay, Bhrigu ko mil gaya, abhi sab ghar jao. No, he wants to help everybody. So they tell the upasanas to do so that they will also reach, one of these days they will reach where Bhrigu is. So extra upasanas. And I think that this Bhagavad Gita journey is the same way. भगवान ने चैप्टर 2 में सब कुछ बोल दिया, तीनों योग बता दिए उसमें, briefly, ज्ञान योग, भक्ति योग, कर्म योग, तीनों is there. Whatever he wanted to say, the main points are all there in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. But obviously Arjun didn't get it, just like we don't get it. So that's why बाकी 16 chapters चले. वैसे ही इसको भी देख लो, सब कुछ बता दिया, मगर hey, you didn't get it, don't worry, I got some more tricks for you, some more practices to do. जैसे कोई होता है ना मैथ स्टूडेंट, एक तो होता है फटाफट सॉल्व कर लेता है, वो अपना ही मेथड लगा के भी सॉल्व कर लेता है, और दूसरे बोलते हैं क्या है मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया, टीचर बोलेगा डोंट वरी, गो प्रैक्टिस दिस, do this 6 problems and then come back to me. Same way, but there is one more hidden thing in these verses. The teacher is so clever that he's saying these things for this one group of people, one meaning is there, and for Bhrigu, another meaning is there. And the main message for the Bhrigu was, the world is also Bhagwan. Don't discard it. Look at it as divine. Help everybody and all that. So that was the message. And for these guys, the message was, hey, try to understand the mechanics of the world. And the more, because mechanics of the world is also connected with that Bhagwan only. So while you are understanding the mechanics of the world, your mind will get quiet, mind will get integrated. It will be easier for you to understand, So that was the whole journey we took. And this particular verse, just the English translation, so that we and some people came after a long time, so maybe they'll have the connection. Yeah, it started with, do not blaspheme. I don't even know how to say this word in English. Blasphemy. Do not blaspheme food. Or the word is ninda karna. Food ki ninda mat karo. Then, and there are, we will see then in the words that we are going to do today, there'll be another word, is a parichikshit or something like that. Parichikshit means usko reject mat karo. सब तरफ से घेर के हमको बोला food का आदर करो, because food is okay. So and that shall be your vow. ये तुम व्रत ले लो. और हम लोग के तो कल्चर में ऐसे कूट के भरा हुआ है हमारे में, right? Food नहीं वेस्ट करना, food is God and all that. If we follow our family traditions, that's why we get so upset about our children when they waste food because इन लोग को समझ में नहीं आता है कि कल्चर में नहीं है, सीधा फेंक देते हैं कुछ उनको अच्छा नहीं लगता है तो, you know. And then it said prana is food, body is eater of the food, the body is fixed in prana, the prana is fixed in the body, thus food is fixed in the food. So it sounds very confusing language. All they are saying is that the pranas and the body are interdependent. They, as though both eat each other. They both are dependent on each other, and they both are, consume each other, and then that's how we have to know. And the Brahman it's coming from Brahman, but Brahman is not affected by this. This isn't Prakriti. That was the whole idea. And then he's saying, he who knows that food is fixed in food becomes one with Brahman. He understands the mechanics of it then. That's how does he become Brahman? Because sometimes just to say God is everywhere and, and God is, eternal, God is unchanging, God is, how? That's how we will ask. What does it mean? That's why we have to do so much Gyan Yoga studies and all that. So he's bringing that back as a method of upasana. And then he becomes possessed of food and he becomes the eater of the food. He becomes great in progeny, and great in cattle wealth. He gets splendor of Brahmanhood. He becomes great in fame. So you can look at it two ways. One is, अगर तुम food का आदर करोगे तो food तुम्हारा आदर करेगा. तभी इंडिया में बोलते हैं ना, अन्न दान दो, so तुम्हारे घर में कभी कोई कमी नहीं रहेगी. ऐसे बोलते हैं ना. And so that's how it is that for the students who didn't reach all the highest, they are putting some carrots in front of them. That, hey, if you do this upasana, then you will become famous, you will have a glow of practice, you will never have any problem in food and wealth, and you will get married, you'll find a girl, get many children. जो भी उनके anxieties है ना, वो सबको. And then the scientific fact behind is कि if their mind gets quiet and integrated, they will automatically do well in the world. So there is a scientific reason. ऐसे नहीं बोल दिया उनको. Because then they will do the right thing and they can be able to fulfill their desires in the dharmic way and all that. So that was one. And then Bhrigu के लिए क्या message था? When he said that you become possessed of food, and he feels oneness with the food sheath. Food sheath is expanded to all 5 elements, and like that. So there's a much expansion over there, and he becomes great in progeny. Is, you can say that, how this self-realized saint, they look at everybody as God's children, and if he's representing literally God on the earth, everybody becomes his children. He has an anxiety about how to help everybody. He's not going to do favorism and all that. And cattle wealth, on one hand, it looks like as though somebody's, in those days, people who had more cattle were the wealthy. These days, people who have other electronic things, whatever. So, and then you can say that this person, the whole world becomes his wealth only. And we discussed that these people who are trying to do these big projects, who are self-realized, कितने resources उनके पास आते जाते हैं. They can get things done because manpower, wealth, everything comes to them. God will provide whatever he needs because everything is, there. And then he gets splendor of Brahma Varchaswan. He gets this, जैसे कि आभा हो जाती है उनके. He's like, तेज आ जाता है उनमें. And then for the other students, the tej is like practice ka tej. If you practice something over and over again, you become so good at it, you get the glow of it. All these athletes and all that, how when they are walking, they just look so majestic, because they have all these muscles, this, that, and you say, hey, yeah, this guy's fit. That you can say that is also a glow of his practice. ऐसे ही तो नहीं आ जाएगा. 6-pack and all that, he has to really work hard. So that was the whole thing. So the last 2 paragraphs, and I think that Swamiji was blasting those people who misunderstand Vedanta, because I think that when he probably was, that was almost like, I don't know, maybe 40-50 years ago, when he was teaching all these things, he must have faced a lot of criticism. And sometimes the Western people, when they tried to translate the Vedas and they didn't understand what it was, because there's a cultural thing behind it too. Sometimes I feel that, when you grow up in a culture, you understand the language, you understand that, and they probably had the disadvantage. And then all these language is very subtle language. It requires a guru to understand them. If you just think you can first time pick up the Gita and you will know everything, you will not know. And you can misunderstand. And so I think that was going on. They misunderstood and they made some khichdi out of it, made some wrong meaning out of it. Just keep that in mind when you read the paragraph, and then you will know that what he's trying to say. Okay, who wants to read? So I have to pick. Urmilji, you came after a long time. Are you in, or do you have the book you want to? Or you want to skip?
I have the book, but I think I'll pass today.
Okay.
I should, yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Falguni ji, are you interested in reading?
Read it. I can read. So we're starting that it's a criminal,
Yeah.
right? It is a criminal misrepresentation of Vedanta to say that a man of realization should run away from life into the dead jungle. Vedanta would not have been a self-surviving philosophy all these periods of history if the perfection conceived by the Hindu Upanishads were to make men nothing better than the rocks on the Ganga banks. To send people away from the world and its joys, from the great scheme of nature, the revealing beauty and the gorgeous extravagance of light and color, smile and ecstasy into a dull and dreary darkness, we need no great philosophy to be propounded by any rishi, even if they could have done it. No, even if they could have done it, they could not have hoodwinked such a long, unbroken line of brilliant generations of Hindus and sustained it to this day. Let us not, in our over-enthusiasm, compliment ourselves to be the only wise generation that has come to grace the face of the globe. None of our political, economic, social, and secular problems of the world today shall justify our wisdom. If greater men of bright and more steady intellect have accepted Vedanta as a philosophy of perfection, it could not be because Vedanta readily created ineffectual men out of honest seekers. On the other hand, it must have been, as we hear in the Upanishad, because of its appeal to the men of wisdom to come out into the world to recognize the divine nature of the world of plurality and to work for the redemption of man. Do not speak ill of food, warns Varuna, and he adds for purpose of emphasis, that shall be your vow.
So this was all one paragraph in your book?
Yeah.
Okay, they divided in. That's fine, no problem. I know. Those are long sentences again. There are a lot of different things. This is what he's trying to say. Firstly, he's trying to say that if, when people say that vairagya hona chahiye, ye hona chahiye, wo hona chahiye, immediately people think, oh, like दुनिया को छोड़ो और बस भगवान का भजन करो and then you sit in the gufa, that's what the goal is. No, that's not how what he's talking about. Do not reject the world, don't run away from it. And the reason that Hinduism has survived all these things, because there are so many great sages and all, they have come out, helped the world and done all these, try to help others to get moksha. And in olden days, we know that राजा महाराजा को भी जब कुछ समझ में नहीं आता था क्या करे तो वो ऋषि मुनि के पास जाते थे. They used to go and ask for advice. They were above even the king, in some ways. They are the one. That's how it's saying. So it's saying that don't have this misunderstanding, because maybe in his time that they would say Vedanta means the people who are studying Vedanta and all that, वो दुनिया को छोड़ देंगे. That kind of fear that maybe people had or something like that. So that's one aspect of it. And then this last couple of sentences, long one, that is the gist of it, that's not the message. And throughout our history, there are saints and sages who have come out in the world and helped the world and be part of it. They have not run away from it, Like our teacher used to say, Ram Bhagwan and Krishna Bhagwan, they got married, they had children, they were kings, they did everything, okay? So you don't need to run away from anything. So that was one point. And here, Bhrigu is, Varuna is specifically telling Bhrigu that do not reject the world, because he doesn't want him to just be in the Brahmanand and sit by himself and be selfish about it, That's one point. And then we saw, I talked about it, a lot of these saints and sages who came to America, their gurus pushed them to come. Hey, go and do this because you have people to help over there and all that. And otherwise, originally they also didn't want to come, but their gurus are the one who directed them to come. So we know about all that too. And then the other one is that he's also telling, on one hand, he's telling don't misunderstand Vedanta and all that and the history of Hinduism and all that. On the other hand, he's saying that in our over enthusiasm, Hinduism has survived all this time. So now, we are just happy with it. But look at the condition of political, economic, social, and secular. So it doesn't show too much wisdom. You see, go back to your Vedas. Understand the wisdom. Your life will become better. All these things. And if you see the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, it says all these things. That the one where Arjuna with his bow and arrow is standing, because finally Arjuna had dropped the bow and arrow in the beginning, right, of the Bhagavad Gita. In the end, wo khada ho gaya leke and say, yes, I will do what you tell me to do. So it's not matlab ki ready to work. And the wisdom of Shri Krishna, wahan par happiness, Dhruva Niti is like a good policy will be there, Shanti will be there, happiness will be there, good policy and prosperity. That's how Bhagavad Gita ends. So it's talking about that तुमको दोनों मिलेगा. तुमको दुनिया में भी prosperity मिलेगी और तुमको भगवान भी मिलेगा. Because ये नहीं कि किसी ने बोला कि रोता हुआ साधु किसी को अच्छा नहीं लगता है. You want everybody to be happy and samriddh, That's what he's trying to say. And then, what other point? Yeah, and he's saying that Vedanta doesn't mean ineffectual men out of honest seekers. On the other hand, appeal to the man of wisdom to come out in the world, to recognize the divine nature of the world of plurality and work for the redemption of man. Redemption is, to make him higher into spiritual and whatever problems he's having. And how you begin? He's telling those students, do not speak ill of food. You begin with the basics. All is telling you, look at the food as coming from God. And when I told you that in chapter 15, when we come of Bhagavad Gita, he's going to say all the food is God. And it's going to tell the whole process that how it seems, I learned a lot of science from Bhagavad Gita too. It seems if the dirt is not exposed to the elements like sunlight and moonlight and vayu and all that, उसमें कुछ उगेगा ही नहीं. I didn't know this. अगर बहुत deep मिट्टी को निकालो ना, and you just try to grow something on it, nothing will grow on it. I didn't know that. It has to be exposed to the elements for the things to germinate. All the farmers might know all these things, but it's like you need some kind of balance, in life for all these things to happen. It's coming from that higher self only, everything. So the food, uska jo process also comes from Bhagwan, and all the 5 elements already come from Bhagwan, and so the final product is also Bhagwan. It's like if you take a drop of ocean, it will have all the characteristic of ocean. It will be salty, it will be water, it will be this, it will be that. So he doesn't want Bhrigu to reject the world. That's what the main purpose of it. So, any question in this one? Okay.
So basically he's saying that just like Bhagwan said, that do your duty, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Do your duty and do the correct thing. Firstly, find out what your duties are. Some people are even confused about their duties. So that's why you need that pure intelligence. to know. The more our intelligence further, we'll know, recognize the duty, we'll know how to do it. And if the dilemma comes, we will know what the right thing to do is. All those things kind of come under that, And then there are, I know Bhagavad Gita, we have been doing it slowly. In chapter 3, 4 and all that, lot of tips are given. How to do with the karma yoga attitude, yagna spirit attitude, you should do all the work and all that. So it's all connected. But here, the main thing that we are looking at is that in the beginning, they say, withdraw from the world and connect to God. That's an early sadhana. But after you get this realization, then you realize that the world is Bhagwan also. That's a full complete circle is finishing. That's what he's trying to do over here.
In food, we just talk about food, but it also involves all the indriyas and all the whatever they get, that is food for that indriya.
Yes, you are right. So what she's saying is that was a very important point. Thank you for bringing that up. When he's talking to Bhrigu, he's saying, because when we talk about food, we only think about the food that we eat. But from the technical perspective, all the indriyas are taking everything in. Right? And so that is also food.
Yes.
So don't reject, because at that stage, those negative things don't affect them.
Yeah.
That's why they can take everything in and then they can help people. हमारे जैसे लोग तो हम लोग कोई negative चीज सुन के जो है ना बंद करो, I don't want to hear it. We withdraw ourselves because we can't handle it. As he's saying, no, now you can handle everything and you should not reject anything. He will guide people properly then what to do. Yeah. Correct. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
And secondly, I don't know where I read it, that, the rishis or the ones who are for the kingdom or with the king, they give the knowledge to the king because king is dealing with the people. So he can direct the people right. I don't know where I read it. But
but that's why I was telling you, that was वो consult करने के लिए ऋषि मुनि के पास जाते थे. वो लोग खुद handle करने की कोशिश करेंगे. और occasionally ऋषि मुनि आके उनको सीधे रास्ते पे भी डालते थे. We saw that in Ramayana it happened. That this Ramchandra ji and Lakshmani, they were teenagers, and Vishwamitra comes and he says, give me these boys. Firstly, पहले तो उसने वो पूछा कि I will do anything for you. Dashrath Maharaj ne promise de diya. Huh? Then he said, give me these 2 boys. And Dashrath Maharaj, no, I'm not going to give you 2 boys. You take me. I'm not giving the 2 boys. Now उनको attachment था ना उनसे. फिर उनको वशिष्ठ जी ने समझाया, उनके कुल गुरु ने.
Yes.
So that means the Rishi Munis are the one who directed them, because they knew that these 2 boys, they are the one going to become instruments in getting rid of all these Rakshasas, and nobody else has the capability of doing it.
Yes.
And they are born for this purpose. So they had the insight that Dashrath Maharaj did not have.
Right. And they had it. And in fact, Ramji said no to it before going because he was asked to go. He said no because what he had seen outside, he wasn't happy. So Valmiki ji then comes along, gives him direction.
Interesting. So even more details. Yes. So to make the long story short, these Rishi Munis are the one who were guiding them correctly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose. Yes. So many things are there. True. Yeah. So we can go to the next one now. It's section 8, and the Sanskrit is Annam na parichakshit. So we'll see this word. Tad vratam apo va annam jyotihi annadam apsu jyoti pratishtitam jyotishi apa pratishtitaha tad etad annam anne pratishtitam sa ya etad annam anne pratishtitam veda pratitishthati annavan annado bhavati. These are a repetition from the previous one. Mahan bhavati prajaya pashuhu bhi brahma varchasena mahan kirtya. So annam, we all know food. Parichakshit. So this is a very loaded word. यहाँ पर लिखा है do not reject, उसका त्याग मत करो. और हिंदी में ना उसके बड़े डीप मीनिंग है. परिचक्षित का मतलब है उपेक्षा करना. उपेक्षा मत करो. whoever is Hindi speaking will, अनदेखा मत करो. त्याग मत करो, अस्वीकार मत करो, भोजन का अपमान मत करो. और उसको like despise करने का भाव नहीं होना चाहिए तुम्हारे अंदर. That's what it is. That's all of that comes in that parichakshit. You can imagine. Tata is that. Vratam is your duty. जो हम बोलते हैं ना ये व्रत लिया है, तो यहाँ ड्यूटी बोला है, पर व्रत मीन्स मैंने ये ठान लिया है कि मैं ऐसा करूंगी, और ऐसा करूंगा. आपा मीन्स वाटर, वे इज वेरिली, अन्नम इज अगेन फूड, ज्योति ही. ज्योति हम लोग बोलते हैं लाइट, बट एक्चुअली इट इज फायर. व्हेन दे से इन संस्कृत उसका मतलब फायर भी हो सकता है, तो यहाँ फायर है. अन्नादम इज द ईटर ऑफ फूड. अपसु इज वाटर. Jyoti again fire. Pratishtitam is established. They are going to talk about now the relationship between fire and water. These are the two elements and how they interact with each other, how they are dependent on each other. Just like prana and body, that's what they are getting at in this one. So Jyotisha again fire. Apa is again water. Pratishtita again are established. Tat is therefore. Etat this. Annam food. Anne food. Pratishtitam is again established. It's a repeated word. Etat this. Annam food. Anne food. I'm going fast. Pratishtitam is again established. Veda we know, do know. That's how the word Vedas came. Veda means to know. Pratitishtati, gets established in Brahman. People who understand this relationship, they get established in Brahman. Annavan, possessor of food. They get a lot of food. Anna, the eater of food. They can eat as much as they want. This is again the same meaning. For one group of people, one meaning. For same meaning is over here, whatever I explained. Bhavati is to become. Mahan is great. Bhavati again become. Prajaya we know. Progeny, praja जिसको बोलते हैं हिंदी में बहुत सारे लोग. पशु भी ही, cattle wealth. और अभी इस modern में बोलेंगे, here's a lot of wealth. Brahma Varchasena, I explained that. A splendor of true Brahmanahood. Born of sacred knowledge resulting from the control of external and internal organs. So यहाँ पर जो ब्रह्म वर्चसेन बताया है, you can have two meanings again. This is the higher part of the meaning, that the person who has Brahma Varchasen, he has practiced so many things that glow has come to him, and because what has he done? He has done control of his the Sindriyas. Mahan, he becomes great. Kirtya in fame. And we saw that how all these self-realized people, when they come out and they work in the world, everybody knows them in the entire world, So that's how it is. So there's some more points over here of... So this is another important vrat or another important vow that is saying, Anna ko... what is it? Na parichakshit. Don't waste food. That's what one of them said. I mean, Nikhilanandji said. So you see how different people can say different things, but we should know the deeper meaning, and I gave you all those deeper meaning. Swamiji said, what did he say? Parikshit and reject. और उन्होंने बोला waste. Whatever you want to call it. और हमारे हिंदी में हम लोग बोलते हैं अन्न का अपमान मत करो. So these are simple instruction in some ways, but he's saying that this is what Nikhilanandji had to say, and we don't think about it, but sometimes we also do think about it. There is enough in the world for everybody's need, but not greed. Yeah. So he said if everybody followed that vow, 100% there'll be enough food for everybody. Nobody needs to starve in this world. There's so much is given, but he's saying that we waste. That's why he's saying reject mein wo waste bhi aa gaya. And he's saying that when the food gets wasted, neither the person is eating, not giving opportunity to somebody else to eat also. That's what it is you're doing. But even if you think about it, do you remember when the COVID had started, how the shelves got empty? Everybody hoarding and hoarding. जैसे कि पूरा अंत आ गया है. So it's like too much. ये नहीं कि सब लोग share करके you do it, but everybody was thinking very selfish in those days. Anyway, this is how human mind is. So it's reminding you. And then he was just saying for us, it's like when you go and stand near the buffet, your eyes want more than your stomach. अगर 20 items है और 3 सब्जियां एक जैसी है, हम तीनों लेंगे. And then वो प्लेट को ऐसे भर लेंगे ऐसे. And then those people on the other side, restaurant वाले ना, they try to use all kind of tricks. ये ज़्यादा नहीं खाना ले. तो I don't know whether you've heard of this. वो छोटी चम्मच डालेंगे, प्लेट को छोटा देंगे. और this one, he was very funny. This Swami was very funny. He said that प्लेट को भारी बना देंगे ताकि तुम्हारा हाथ दुख जाए. You won't take too much food. Just to tell us that, look, we get greedy and we take too much food and then we throw it. So don't do that. So when we say, don't reject food or don't insult food or, don't waste food, all of these things come under that. So I think that we have to look at our own behavior and see how we can make it better, So he's saying, take this vow. This is the upasana. And the upasana part is, he's talking about now a little more subtle upasana. First, he talked about body and pranas in the last one, right? Now it's like a elemental connection. Fire and water. So directly going to fire and water. So it's telling you that Apovanam and so ज्योति को फायर बोला है, आपा इज वाटर. उनका कनेक्शन क्या है? फायर इज एस्टैब्लिश इन वाटर, वाटर इज एस्टैब्लिश इन फायर. सो these 5 elements we may see like they are as though they are distinct from each other. They are all mixed with each other. Earth may is all 5 are there, and then water may other 4 are there, like that. If you see the division of that, it is very, very scientific. Akash came first and, Vayu came next. So Vayu mein Akash bhi hota hai. And then Agni came. Agni mein Akash और Vayu दोनों होते हैं. And then water में Agni भी होती है. So how it is established. And then both are eater of each other. So that, he said, you can, even in your own body, you can see fire and water ka connection. So when we get really hot, we want to drink water. है कि नहीं? हो गया कि नहीं? They are eating each other. To cool it down, they need water. And vice versa. बहुत सारा, somebody was saying, I didn't know this. I think maybe my husband told me about that. Too much water can become poisonous for your body. बोलते पानी पियो, हाँ 8 ग्लास पियो जो भी, लेकिन अगर कोई पीता ही जाए, it will, because the fire खत्म हो जाएगा तुम्हारा बॉडी में. सबका बैलेंस होना चाहिए, फायर एंड वाटर, ये सबका बैलेंस होना चाहिए. तभी आयुर्वेदा गोज बाय बैलेंस. It's not going to tell everybody go drink this much water. Say, hey, see what the requirement of your body is. They have some science ki bhai, oh, this much water is good for you, this much will become, not so good. But the basic idea is that water and fire are constantly interacting in the world. Okay, one is in the other and the other is in one. So it's together, and that's one aspect. And when they interact with each other, their interaction, the Brahman is separate from it. Even though it is coming from Brahman, the Brahman doesn't get affected by their interaction. That's the whole message you get with this sadhana. Okay? And then he was just saying that, somebody say, hey, how is water and fire connected with each other? Hey, he's saying that if the water is placed near the fire, fire will consume the water. It will take it and make it into a steam. It's taking it, right? You can, if one aspect is not connecting with your brain, you can yourself think, what is the connection? Go there and observe. Put water and fire together and you will see their connection. One eats the other. जैसे बोला बहुत सारी फायर हो, उसमें पानी डाल दो, ठंडा हो जाएगा. Other way around and all that. So mutual interaction. So that was one aspect. And he was just saying that, some of the interesting things that we don't think about. He's saying the 3 elements में सबसे ज़्यादा interaction होता है. The water, fire and earth. These are the constantly. And I think that this combination does many different things on the earth. That's why they use that word, that it is established in each other, because they are connected to each other. And then he was just saying that how in the previous, I already mentioned that prana and sharira they were mentioning, and now a higher kind of upasana. So that was subtler upasana, he was saying, that is going to the elements now. And he was just saying that even though they talked about those two upasanas, this upasana in this particular verse, but in the body also same thing is happening. So actually outside and inside, both the fire and water are interacting, that was another thing. And then I already talked about all that. And then he was saying, why did he say to do this kind of upasana? Like sometimes we say, what is the connection? Why did he say that? So he gave an example. I think he gave in the previous one also the same example. That he's saying like if you want to do a mathematical calculation, so he's saying India में ना अपने को पहले वो tables रटाते थे वो लोग. यहाँ पर तो नहीं करते हैं. हम लोग को याद होगा हमारे generation को 2 times 2 क्या 2 एकम 2 2 दूनी 4, right? Whoever went to the Hindi medium और वो मतलब अगर नहीं याद करो तो डंडे पड़ते थे. You have to memorize them. These days, so these little kids also have calculators and phones and all that. इनको कुछ tables वेबल्स आता नहीं है. लेकिन कितना आसान हो जाता है. अगर table याद हो, जैसे what is 12 times 4? Boom. And otherwise, they will take time to look at the calculator and all that. Saying that that's what this upasana. I thought I gave a brilliant example that it will help them to do subtler and subtler. You start over here and then your mind gets pure and you have a proper understanding and this relationship between the elements and all that. It helps us to understand the subtler aspect, comprehend the subtler aspect of Bhagwan. That is the practice, And he's saying that it also develop our mind and intellect for that contemplation, because वैसे तो भगवान ने बोला ना इंटेलिजेंस दिया लेकिन तुम उसका एनहेंस करो. तो इंडिया में बोलते हैं ना कि मती मारी गई है बुद्धि. The person is या दिमाग में भूसा भरा है or something like that. We have such words, just saying that you're not using your intelligence. So whatever intelligence Bhagwan is going, we got to sharpen it. We have to integrate it, That is what this upasana is about. Because otherwise you say that why they are saying to do this kind of thing. And then the way he explained about those things about Brahma Varchasen and Mahan Kirtya and all that, famous, you become famous, you get food and all. The phala, it's a result bataya upasana se kya hoga. And we already discussed that for the one group of people, putting some carrots in front of them that you will get what you want. And for the other one, we already saw what it is, right? And then about the food, he said one more very interesting thing. And I already mentioned that, but there was 1 or 2 things he said, and you might like that too. So he's saying that so many places that they do annadan. इंडिया में कई temples हैं और ये गुरुद्वारे में तो चलता ही रहता है, right? So he's saying the person who takes this literally a vow of annadan, it's like that chain never breaks. कहीं ना कहीं से कोई ना कोई donate करेगा और वो kitchen चलता ही रहता है. You've heard that some of the big mandirs, they feed like 50,000 people and this and that. उनका खाना खत्म होता ही नहीं है. Because it's like literally blessing from God that if you respect the food and you want to do this, resources will come to you. And he said that he used to work in one of the kitchens, And he said that वो लोग इतना respect देते हैं food को कि they don't even say नमक खाली, नमक दो मुझे, नमक राम. I didn't know that, ये sabji ram, pani ram, roti ram. That's how they address the food. So roti ram dena mujhe, the namak ram dena means this tradition is coming from the Vedas to respect the food, and they actually do it in these kitchens, which I didn't know about. And then we know that there is a whole verse in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Arpanam Brahma Havihi. Whoever knows that, Meena ji knows that verse, because that is telling you that the food is God, The one who's eating is also God. The fire in our stomach is God. God is playing with God. It's like the waves are in the ocean and one wave is playing with the other. Everything is ocean anyway, like that. So that bhav connects you to God. So those are the things that this has. Any question? So I think we'll have to read the next time. There's a long, Swamiji's commentaries are long on these ones because coming to an end and he wants us to make sure that we understand everything. This one is not as long as the other one, but any comment, question about food? Talking all about food. Time for lunch for everybody, huh?
You just mentioned that verse, Brahma Arpan Brahmavi. Can you just repeat it, the whole thing? I really like that verse.
Brahma Arpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmeva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So this is what they say before eating, and the meaning is that only. That Brahma, I'm offering it to God. So it's like when I'm eating food, I'm offering it to God. So then how much reverence you will have for the food. So it is coming from the Shastras only, right? You won't reject it. And then Brahma Havihi. Havi means ghee. Yeah, ghee. And this Brahma Arpanam is also for the fire ritual. तो अपना यज्ञ करते हैं ना, कमला जी तो कितना यज्ञ करती है. आई आज कमला जी जो यज्ञ करती है उसमें बोला जो घी डालते हैं वो भी ब्राह्मण है, भगवान है. अग्नि भी भगवान है. जो 5 पंडित बैठ के कर रहे हैं वो भी भगवान है. सो मैं उसी को दे रही हूँ. एंड दे से कि जितनी भी एक्टिविटीज होती है ना दुनिया में वो यज्ञ ही चल रहा है. और यज्ञ स्पिरिट में, नाउ दैट यू ब्रॉट दैट अप, the chapter 3 में भगवान का एक वर्स है, verse 9. If somebody can go and read it, chapter 3 verse 9. उसमें बोला है कि जो भी काम करो ना वो यज्ञ की भांति करो तुम. और यज्ञ में क्या होता है, जो पुराने जमाने में यज्ञ होता था ना वो लोग करते थे, सार्वजनिक यज्ञ करते थे. लाइक एक समझो टाउन है, सारे लोग मिलते थे टाउन वाले और हर एक जन कंट्रीब्यूट करता था जो कर सकता था. Not everybody can contribute everything. Like सब किसी के पास grain है, किसी के पास ईंट है, किसी के पास घी है. They used to bring everything, and if you have nothing else, you can do cleaning, you can do wrapping, and then whatever, and then finally उसका जो result मिलता था उसको सब मिलके बांटते थे. And one of the result was rain used to fall on them and all that. There are many different type of havans and yagnas. So the result was never taken by one person. So contribution is done, and the whole idea was everybody needs to benefit from this. So your selfishness goes away. Hoarding idea goes away. It's a cooperative endeavor for a benefit of all. So he's saying that every action you do it like that. So this particular verse also, this verse has a lot of different meanings. So one is about the food that you're eating. The other one is about Bhagwan is everywhere. Vibhuti of Bhagwan is everywhere. And the third is that you do the action in such a way that will benefit, that will kind of elevate you in your spiritual endeavors. And then there are a couple of verses connected to that verse. Bhagwan says that, if you don't do in yagna spirit, you will be bound and you will be dukhi and you will be upset all the time. So that was the whole idea. Now that you brought that up, yeah.
This can be taken for every action if you look at it from Arpan.
Yes.
It's not just for food, but every action if you take it, it stands for that.
Right, and that's exactly that yagna spirit whole about 10-15 verses on that. And Bhagwan also said in one of the verses, the person who doesn't share the result with everybody, he's like a thief. The one who hoards himself and or like in our pledge, in Chinmaya Mission pledge, we have the sentence, produce more than you can consume, and share more than what you take. When you take from the society, you take from people and all, give them more,
Yes.
So like that, So a lot of tips are given that how to become free, and
Yes.
all those things are given. So Anyway, with that note, we will. We already did the prayer. Now we can go eat lunch. Okay, I'll do the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. We'll see
Hari
you.
Om.
See you next week. Hari Om, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.